Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aurelia Samuyenga, and welcome to this edition of NMH at 1 on Friday, the 19th of November, 2021. Stay tuned as we give you a brief overview of today's news highlights from all corners of the country. As far as COVID-19 goes, prevailing conditions in Namibia show no sign of headwinds, but let us still remain vigilant. By Tuesday, the average number of new cases in the country dropped to only 5 a day, with 36 positive results reported over the last 7 days. The last time the 7-day average for new cases was this low was on the 22nd of June last year, 5 days after proof of local transmission was first detected in Walvis Bay. At that time, Namibia only had 72 cases on record, mostly detected amongst visitors and returning residents. Only 14 of Namibia's 35 health districts logged new cases since the 9th of November, and 20 districts showed a decrease. Even in the 4 districts where an increase was reported, Opuo, Rundu, Mariental, and Keetmanshoop, new cases for the past week only varied between 1 and 4. Our map shows that only 3 districts are currently recording a rounded average of 1 new case per day. Averages in Oshakati and Windhoek remain at 1, while the average at Sandi decreased from 2 to 1. 21 districts reported no new cases over the past 7 days. The following districts now also have a 0 average: Enana, Engela, and Okongo, representing the entire Ohangwena region, as well as of the Shikoto region, consisting of the districts of Onanjokwe, Omthia, and Tsumeb. Otapi, Khobabas, and Luderos also did not record any new cases. By Tuesday, Namibia edged closer to fully vaccinating 300,000 individuals. Of the entire population, 14% have received at least 1 dose of vaccine, and 11.5% have completed their inoculation courses. These figures respectively represent 23% and 19% of targets set by the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
Season 1 of the Hunters Chill Session is coming to a close. To celebrate Hunters and the Namibian Sun, we'll be having an exclusive invite-only event at Access Lounge on the 23rd of November. You can be part of this. Stand a chance to win exclusive double tickets for you and a friend to attend the Hunters Chill Finale. WhatsApp a picture of you and your friend chilling with your favorite Hunters to 084 000 9820. Hunters, refreshes like nothing on earth. Not for persons under the age of 18. T's and C's apply.
As per usual, here at NMH at 1, we bring you a number of video news clips from across the country. In our first video contribution submitted by Esther Kamati, Kevin Vessels explains the feasibility of a basic income grant for every Namibian. This is part of the key objectives of the Economic and Social Justice Trust, who believe that a 500 Namibian dollar basic income grant for Namibians between the ages of 19 and 60 years would alleviate poverty in the country.
Government last year, due for COVID, has also scientifically proven that it can help elevate and reduce poverty. There is money. There is no going 2 ways about it. The statistics show that which they mentioned now, the money that has been stolen, is just the tip of the iceberg. If you count all the money that has been stolen from 1990 up to now, every year, if we count how many Namibians 19 years to 59 years need the BIG, that's about $4 billion of the national budget. That's 5.5%. It's nothing for the government. Yes. And that means every Namibian can get a $500 every month. That's $6,000 every year. We speak about, Honorable Agnes said, the youth must create opportunities for themselves. How is the youth going to create opportunities for themselves if they do not have the capital to do it? How? Now what the $500 can do, you see how the pensioners get their money every month. They have access to loans through NAMPOst. If the post office knows that every Namibian receives a $500 every month, they know there's a constant income. They can also give loans. The youth can start their own businesses. The youth can empower themselves. If a household receives 3,000, that means that that household is able to sustain itself. We are not saying that poverty will be eradicated totally, but it will help elevate poverty. And that is what we're saying. The youth is tired. The youth is tired of listening to the leaders. We are demanding for a basic income grant. We are asking Hage Kenko president that 42,000 people that he wants to give the basic income grant to is nonsense. How do you determine only 42,000 people are going to get it? That is where you create the inequality. How did you get to that amount? Everybody deserves the basic income grant because this country does not belong to the politicians, it belongs to all of us.
The Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation appointed a new Employment Equity Commission that was inaugurated by Minister Utoni Nuyoma in Oshivarongo this week. Enzo Amwele was there.
The statutory body is one of the state's most important institutions, mandated by the relevant statute to drive the transformation agenda in employment in Namibia. The Affirmative Action Employment Act 29 of 1998, which created this commission, aims at guiding employers to eliminate employment barriers against persons in designated groups with a view to ensuring that they are equitably represented at all levels of employment. The previous apartheid regime employment policies left a legacy of disparities in terms of the distributions of jobs, incomes, and occupations. The regime was characterized by its principles of inequalities, which reinforce race and male dominance. It is therefore your duty as members of the Equity Commission to ensure that the provisions of the Affirmative Action Law are effectively enforced and employers are watched with an eagle's eye and guided with a firm hand to bring about the overdue necessary transformation.
Go ahead, other programs and plans. My brother Odniel requested that please make sure that we are here today because this is a very, very important event. And I want to say that I didn't fail your request, but I'm here today. According to the Labour Force Survey report for 2018, Namibia's total workforce was 725,742, of which about 74,481 were employed by various employees or institutions within Oshodonjupa region. However, employees in the region who constitutes about 10% of Namibia's total workforce. They are just like any other employees out there. And in addition to occupational hazard exposed to them in terms of the inhumane treatment such as stripping of female employees, you might have recorded that the Rindi was one of the latest cases that we have recorded. And that is building up on the case that was in Windhoek where a lady was stripped naked because of a certain material that she couldn't sell on time. So those issues are not only unique to Windhoek and any other place, but again, in the regions as well, we are going through the same. Equality and respect of human dignity should be a hallmark of every workplace if we want to move forward as a country.
The Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology's Information Officer for Kavango East, Shoki Kanjimi, talks to Kenya Kambowe about the recent graduation of students from their free basic computer literacy program. Over 200 students have graduated from the project since its launch in 2020.
This is a ministerial program. It's called the Basic Literacy Program, which is basically aimed at assisting unemployed youth with basic computer skills. And it is in line with the ministry's strategic plan, which aims to make Namibia a smart ICT nation.
Okay, tell us about the progress. How many learners or students have you enrolled and how many have graduated so far?
Since the inception of last year, when the program was launched, we really received an overwhelming response from the public, particularly the people who are interested in the program. We have received over 5,000 application forms. Then that just shows you that really there's a need for people to be trained within this area. We have graduated over 200 people. So what happens is we take different cohorts. Every 3 months we train a specific group, and then we take in another group. Now we cannot even send out applications notice because we still have a lot of applications that we need to still train. And I think that just shows you that really we are doing something that is actually empowering the unemployed youth.
Okay. By your experience, are these people who never used a computer, or who are these students of yours?
Yeah, majority of them are, of course, people who never touched a computer at all, or they know that this is a computer, but actually operating the computer, they do not have those, or they do not have that knowledge. So that is one thing that we picked up, and that's why the ministry even decided to come up with this program, because we need people who are digitally literate.
Okay, and for those who have graduated, are there those who may perhaps got employment and then they give you feedback and saying thank you for this opportunity?
Yeah, I think we are really faced with a lot of issues. The pandemic, we are faced with unemployed youth, unemployment rate rather, that is so high. But I think from some students, we have come to learn that really it's helping them in whatever they used to do. Some of them are working in different sectors, and it's actually empowering them to make use of computers to actually make their work easier and faster. But in terms of them getting employed, we are still yet to learn about them. But I must inform you that these students are actually using these skills to even open up their businesses. Some have opened up a typing business, for instance.
Okay, maybe last but
Let's have a look at the stories making headlines in our national daily newspapers today. The Namibian has published a multi-page investigation report on the rise and fall of Sacky Shanghala, former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Namibia, now facing charges of corruption, money laundering and racketeering. During his 10 years in office, Shanghala has been linked to more than 15 questionable state transactions worth more than 13 billion Namibian dollars. Now the man once seen as a presidential candidate is in a holding cell at the age of 44. New Era exposes the dubious allocation of government farms in the Omaheke region to those in close proximity of power during the reign of former regional governor Festus Wetele. Among those named is Zambezi Governor Lawrence Shampofu, for whom government spent 2.6 million Namibian dollars on buying a resettlement farm when not much farming is currently taking place. Business mogul Amos Shiuka, unionist turned politician Rwako Ngwavova, and former NBC presenter Tosi Shishombo are among the list of others politically exposed named in the report, as well as Deputy Director of Land Reform in Omaheke, Meklesia Mbaisa. Allgemeine Zeitung reports that Namibia wants to harmonize the use of its marine areas with the introduction of so-called marine time, spatial planning, or MSP. Explaining the concept, Fisheries Minister Derek Claassen yesterday said the diverse and increasing number of human activities and interests in the ocean require careful coordination and collaboration in their use. Marine spatial planning is necessary in order to create a balance between protection and use. For example, a potentially mutually beneficial relationship was identified between species protection and catamaran trips and kayak tours. A synergy was also identified between mining activities in the sea and tidal energy as a future option. In addition, abandoned coastal diamond areas could be used for tourism activities or possible developments for the cultivation of fish or other seafood. Moving on, Namibian Sun takes a look at MTC's underwhelming performance in convincing ordinary Namibians to buy shares in their listing on the Namibia Stock Exchange this morning. Despite pumping more than 15 million Namibian dollars into the board-based marketing campaign of its initial public offering for the public, mostly institutional investors was only interested in 39% instead of the full 49% of shares offered to the public. The Republican focuses in on the confirmation that the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises will be phased out to be incorporated as a department under the Ministry of Finance. Leon Schuster, who was appointed by the president 6 years ago as the Minister of SOEs, yesterday confirmed that he will leave the cabinet within the next 3 to 4 months. Schuster said he believes during the years ahead, the fruits will show of the creative conceptualization done before. And now, some of the newsworthy items from the inside pages of today's newspapers. In the Namibian, President Hage Geingob has issued a statement yesterday responding to allegations that he is contemplating a third term. Geingob said he is not planning to replicate founding President Sam Nujoma, saying any plans would be against the principles of the Constitution and that he will hand over the reins of power to anyone who wins the presidential election in 2024. Meanwhile, Namibians will now be able to travel to Southern African Development Community, or SADC countries, with the new look identity card documents without the need to carry passports. New Era reports that President Hage Geingob launched the new color-coded IDs with a quick response code replacing the initial fingerprint with the machine-readable zone replace the barcode. Geingob named Botswana as one of the countries that agree that Namibians do not need passports to go there if they have the new ID. Allgemeine Zeitung goes into some of the revelations taken from the emails of Ricardo Gustavo, the former MD of Nangoma Pesca Namibia, during cross-examination as part of his ongoing bail application. Numerous emails from 2014 show that Gustavo had repeatedly signed various communiques in his position as director of Nangoma Pesca SA, which gave the impression that there was a joint venture between the two border countries, Namibia and Angola, something Gustavo repeatedly denied and labeled as untrue. Namibian Sun tells the story of a Windhoek man who needed medical treatment after he was viciously attacked by 3 men inside the Pioneers Park Cemetery recently. After they had taken his cell phone, they began searching his pockets and then tried to remove his shoes. When he started screaming for help, they shoved sand into his mouth and hit him in the face with a rock. A CT scan later showed he did not suffer brain damage, but he was given medicine for a possible lung infection because of the sand he had ingested. And finally, ahead of the significant weekend for Namibian rugby, Republican reports that the 5-week delay in confirming the FNB University of Namibia and FNB Western Suburbs as the 2 teams to contest the Premier League final on Saturday has caused disruption for both clubs. Western Suburbs will replace FNB Wanderers, who were expelled after being guilty of using ineligible players during their semi-final win. Wanderers has confirmed that they withdrew the appeal they intended, which paves the way for current club season to be concluded. And that is it for this Friday edition of NMH at 1. Please stay safe and have a blessed weekend ahead. We will see you again on Monday, but with Glenora Shipura. Until then, enjoy your weather update.